A very charming good morning, all of you. I am sure that all of you are strengthening the nation by staying at home. And yesterday, the government has announced to increase the period of lockdown once again. Really, it is clear that the problem is not small, it's a very huge problem. So that's why it's going on. Till then, we have to completely complete our syllabus as well. So today, I'm going to start lesson number 8 from your snapshots book, The Tale of Melon City, written by Vikram Seth. Tale means story. So this story is about a city which name is Melon City. Amazing to hear that, na? Yes. So this poem is in project style. In the city of which I sing, there was a just and placid king. Placid means calm, peaceful. So here the writer explained that he is just talking about, he just explaining about a city where was a just and placid king. Where was a king who loved just and who was calm by nature. The king proclaimed means ordered, an arch should be constructed. Arch. R is silent in this word. So it is pronounced as arch. The king proclaimed means ordered an arch. Arch means curb gate. As you have seen when you enter in your village, so you have seen and at the entrance gate, as the entrance gate is built up, so that is called arch. An arch should be constructed. The king ordered to his workmen that a curve gate should be constructed, should be built, that promptly would span the major thoroughfare to edify spectators there. That that promptly would span the major thoroughfare. Thoroughfare means highway. Major means main, and span means straddle means both the side, to cover the full highway having a curb gate. So he ordered his workmen that on the main highway a curb gate should be built to edify spectators there, so that the audience the audience should watch and should read about his victories. The workmen went and built the thing as it was the order of the king. So the workmen started to work, and they completed the task within a time period. They did so nice, he was the king. They did so since he was the king. Actually, the workmen worked within a time because it was the order of a king. The king rode down the thoroughfare when the work was over. So king decided to inspect and inaugurate that arch. So he went, so he rode on the chariot and rode down the thoroughfare. He started to move on the highway to edify spectators there. Under the arch, he lost his crown. The arch was built too low, but when the king entered inside the arch, its height was too low. So, so his crown was hit under that height, and it fell down. A frown appeared upon his placid face frown, a symbol of disapproval. Frown means a symbol of disapproval when we are not getting a satisfaction or anything. That's why it is created. बहुत चढ़ाना. Yes, a frown appeared upon his placid face. He shows he shows his disapproval to this incident. The king said, "This is a disgrace. Oh, this is my insult. The chief of builders will be hanged." It's the insult of the king, so the chief builders will be hanged. The rope and gallows were arranged. The rope, and actually when we have to hang someone, some things are need. So one is the rope, and second one a platform. A platform from which criminals are executed, hanged or beheaded. That is known as gallows. So rope and gallows were arranged. The chief of builders was led out. He was then the chief of builders was called there. He came there, he arrived there, and before reaching the king, he gave a shout. He started to weep and he requested as, "O king, it was the workman's fault." He cried, he requested, he appealed. The chief of builders appealed that, "O great king, it was not my fault. It was the fault of the workman." The king said, "Oh, and called a halt. Halt means stop. He ordered at once to stop that process of hanging to the proceedings. Being just and president now, he said, "I must have all the workmen hanged instead." At once he ordered that really the chief of builders is saying correctly, so it's not his fault. The fault is of the workmen. So all the workmen must be hanged instead of the chief of builders. The workmen looked surprised. All the workmen were called there, and all of them were very surprised to see, to have the judgment of the king. So they appealed, "O king, you do not realize the bricks were made of the wrong size." They said that it was not their fault. It was the fault of the brickmaker who built, who created, who made the bricks in wrong size. That's why the mistake was done. King was fully satisfied and he ordered his soldiers summon the masons. He ordered to call the mason who made the wrong size bricks. The mason stood there quivering. Quivering is quivering. That is a very common word. Quivering. When a person used to start, when a person lose control on his body due to fear, his body used to move, hands, legs used to move. That is called quivering. That is called quivering. So, a shaky motion, the shaking of his fingers as he lit his pipe, the act of vibrating. The mason stood vibrating there. He was vibrating, his body was vibrating, quivering. It was the architect. So the mason said, "It is not our fault, king. It is the fault of the architect who designed that arch." Architect means who designed, the person who designed a building, that is known as architect. So the masons claimed for architect. The architect was someone. Now it was the turn of the architect, so he was called. Well, architect, said his majesty, the king said, I do ordain that you shall be hanged. It's my order that you will be hanged because you have designed wrong. You have designed incorrectly of the art. That's why my crown has fallen down. But the architect said, O king, you have forgotten one small thing. O king, you have forgotten one small thing. You made certain amendments. Amendments means changes to the plans when I showed them to you. Architect said, O king, when I showed you the plan, you had changed yourself, and it was due to your changed. The king heard this. The king saw red. Now the king became red due to shame. In fact, he nearly lost his head. Now he had lost his control. His temper was going out. But being a just and placid king, he said, this is a tricky thing. He announced that really the matter is very critical now. I need some counsel. So he thought that now he should call the ministers for the discussion. Bring to me the wisest men in this country. He ordered to call the wisest men of his country there. The wisest man was found and brought, nay, carried to the royal court. Actually, the word found and brought is wrong for him because he was not capable even to move, even to walk. He was a very old man. He was unable to speak, he was unable to hear, and he was unable to move. That's why he is called as the wisest man. So he was carried to the royal court. He could not walk and could not see, so old was he. He was the oldest person of the country, so he was considered as the wisest man. But in a quavering voice, but in a quavering, in a murmuring sound, in his vibrating mode, when he was speaking, a vibration was developing in his throat, so his voice was unable to understand. But in a quavering voice he said, the culprit must be punished. He said, the culprit, the criminal must be punished. Truly the arch it was that banged the crown off. Banged means to hit. He blamed he blamed to the arch that hit the hit the crown of the king. So the arch must be hanged. That gate must be hanged. To the scaffold. To the scaffold. Scaffold means a platform from which criminals are executed, are hanged. Means a temporary arrangement erected around for criminals to be executed. So to the scaffold the arch was led when suddenly a counselor said. So when they were preparing for the arch to be hanged, a counselor, a wise minister said, How can we hang so shamefully? What touched your head, your majesty? He said, "O dear king, O great king, when the arch has touched your head, it has turned pure, so it can never be hanged, because now it's a matter of pride for us, being the part of yours. He can't be hanged." The king mused at once. True. By now the crowd, restless, was muttering aloud. The crowd who were gathered there, they had lost their patience, and they were muttering themselves. The king perceived means to guess their mood, and trembled, and said to all who were assembled. The king just guessed the mood of the crowd, and so he trembled, afraid. He was afraid, and he announced to the crowd, let us postpone consideration of finer points like guilt. The nation wants a hanging. Hanged must be someone, and that immediately. He ordered that someone must be hanged, because the nation wants that someone should be hanged. So he declared for that. The noose was set up. Noose means same, scaffold, a platform from which criminals are executed. फांसी का फंदा. The noose was set up somewhat high. Each man was measured by and by. So now when the noose was hanged there, the noose was set up. A loop formed in a cord or rope by means of a slip knot. It binds tighter as the cord or rope is pulled. It is called a noose. So the noose means fanda. The noose was set up somewhat high. Each man was measured by and by. All the persons who were gathered there, one by one, they were called, and their height was checked, that who can be suitable to hang there. He was the king, his majesty. At last, only the king was so tall who could be hanged. So, the royal decree, according to the royal order, the king was hanged. The king was hanged. Thank goodness we found someone, said the minister. Later on, after hanging the king, all the ministers said, thank God, we found someone to hang. We had not, the unruly town might well have turned against the crown. But now there was no king. So they discussed themselves that without king, how it possible to run the nation. That's why we should elect a king immediately. The minister said, long live the king. Long live the king is dead. So how that is possible? When the king is dead and they were crying, long live the king, long live the king. They pondered the dilemma, then being practical minded men. So now there was a dilemma. What should be done? Who should rule over the kingdom? It was the dilemma. So it was decided that a practical minded man should be called here. Sent out the heralds. Heralds means message. To, to proclaim, to declare. In his former majesty name. The next to pass the city gate will choose the ruler of our state. The person who will arrive, who will enter in the city gate early in the morning, he will decide about the ruler of their state. He will elect the new king. As is our custom, this will be enforced with due ceremony. It was the system, it was the ceremony of that city, of that kingdom, that the selection or election of the king was done by the man who entered first of all through the city gate. A man passed by the city gate. He was an idiot. So next day, when a man entered in the city gate, the guards cried, "Wait, wait." He was an idiot. Who is to be the king? Decide. The guard asked the man, "Please tell us who is to be the king." The idiot replied, "A melon." This was his standard answer to all questions. If you ask him, "What's your name?" his answer was, "Melon." If you ask, "Where are you going?" he answered, "Melon." If you ask, "What do you want?" his answer was, "Melon." So it was his standard answer to all questions. "You are now our king," the ministers said, crowning a melon. So as per his decision, a melon was appointed or elected as the king of that kingdom. Then they led the melon to the throne and reverently sat it down. This happened years and years ago. When now you ask the people, so it happened. So thus the kingdom has a king, and that is melon. If you ask someone of that kingdom, "So your king appeared to be a melon. How did this happen?" So they say, "Well, on account of customary choice, if His Majesty rejoice in being a melon, that's okay with us, for who are we to say?" So they just answered. The citizen of that kingdom answered very politely that due to their custom, it is through a system, that's why a melon has become our king. What he should be, as long as he leaves us in peace and liberty. And it's no problem. We want a king who doesn't disturb us, who leaves us in peace and liberty. Either he is a melon or a man. We don't care. The principles of laissez-faire seem to be well established there. So this is the poem of Tale of the Melon City.